Welcome to the Event Engine Podcast. This is your host, Lee, and on today's show we have the one, the only, the slightly voice-tired because he's been talking all morning. It's Neil Thompson from Delegate Wranglers. How are you, mate?
Hello, Lee. I am really good, thank you.
Tip-top champion.
Yeah, delighted to be here, thank you.
I'm delighted to have you on, mate. I'd really love to just explore the world of Delegate Wranglers, which is a great example of community. You started back in 2019, I think, from memory, and have 21,000 members?
Earlier than that. We started 2014.
2014.
We are 10 next year.
10 years old. Why did I think 2019? Actually, your Facebook group, was it?
The Facebook group started in 2014, but I know, I don't look old enough to be have a company 10 years old.
Happy birthday, 10 years old. Well, I mean, I'd like to explore it because we've been interviewing people here in the event about building community, say, off the back of events. You guys have created a wonderful community of at least 21,000 event professionals, I believe, nowadays.
Yep.
So could you just take us well back into that time machine, back 10 years ago, as to how and why you started Delegate Wranglers?
Okay, yeah. First of all, I come from I'm an event organizer myself. So I've been in the industry since about 1999. Don't look old enough, but yeah, I know. But you can come again. So, I was a freelance event manager doing a lot of pharmaceutical events. So that meant a lot of traveling all over the world, different types, big, small, you name it, I did it. And I did that for 15, 20 years. So in 2014, in the middle of all that, in 2014, I started the Facebook group because I thought Facebook groups had just launched. And I thought, well, this would be a good way to connect with other people like me, other freelancers and people I work with regularly, to kind of share information. And if we had a difficult brief, we could ask each other, we could give each other work, all the kind of, things. Rather than sending a phone, ringing somebody up or sending them a text, we could just have this place. And it started like that. I invited half a dozen people. And then we grew, and then the number of questions on there grew and grew. But at that time, it was still, I think until we got to about 500, we were only event managers.
Yeah.
So no suppliers at all.
Yeah.
And then suppliers started getting tagged in, and they were like, can we join this group?
This sounds amazing.
This sounds an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
So we then started to let suppliers in.
Yeah.
But then, we've always kind of been really careful about who we let in. They have to be in the industry. They're not just in there to mine information from people or to spam them or anything like that. Yeah, so we're really, I mean, to the point of now, we're now nearly 22,000. We could be 40,000 because we've rejected a lot of people, who haven't hit the criteria. And I think it's that quality which has made the group what it is. And then just to explain to anybody who doesn't know it, the Delegate Wranglers it's a community for the event industry where you'll either learn something, you'll get some business, or you'll make a connection. Yeah. One of them three things will happen every single day. Yeah. So event managers will put on their inquiries, and it can range from anything like, I'm looking for a venue for 500 people for an event, or down to, I'm looking for a singer for tomorrow, somebody's let me down. Yeah. And then the community will spring into action. So you'll get some people, some event organisers will say, oh, I've worked with Dave, speak to him at the Hilton, he'll help you out. Yeah. It's brilliant. Like a sort of bona fide recommendation. Yeah. Or you'll get the actual venues themselves or the suppliers themselves saying, we could do it, here's all our information. So what we do is we connect people into getting solutions and getting business. So we have millions of pounds worth of business every month is traded on there. On the group.
Amazing.
And we've just grown and grown, and we've always made it a really inclusive, friendly, warm place to be. There's no negative on there, no negative posts. We get to vet all the posts, so there's no negativity on there. We don't allow it. And it's self-policing. I know that sounds like a big task, but now everybody knows the vibe. So if anybody, well, first of all, they won't get to post something up because we'll get to it first. But if somebody replies, other people will step in and say, hang on a minute, that's not that vibe. Yeah. Or they'll report it. Well, you hardly get any. Because that's the vibe. If that's not your vibe, don't join. And there's been some people who that's not the vibe, and that's fine. That's life, isn't it? But 99.9% of the kind of people who join really enjoy the experience, really find it useful. And there's no such thing as a stupid question on there. You could ask for a hotel in London for 10 people. If you want a recommendation of somewhere hot or somewhere new, there's no such thing. So yeah, it's become a beast that's spread out into many other things, and I know we're going to talk about some of those things in a bit.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, at what point did this become way bigger than you ever expected?
I'd say about 2017, we then got to about 8,000 members, and it was it's like pushing a snowball up a mountain. I think it's like you're pushing it. It's really difficult, and you're working on it, and suddenly when you get to the top of that mountain, it goes over the other side, and it just builds up momentum, and the snowball just got bigger and bigger, and then it became like almost like not what is the Delegate Wranglers, but aren't you in the Delegate Wranglers? That's how people would say it to people. So suddenly it became a thing that everybody had to be in, because it filled a void that people needed, and everything on our group, on our community, is because of a need, a requirement from the industry and from what people tell us. So we're all ears. We're really open. You know, we listen to everything that people say, and then obviously we became. I think around that time as well, 2019, I went to a meeting with Facebook. I got invited to a community like social event, and then suddenly I had a conversation with them. It wasn't a picture or anything. I was just talking with them, telling them about it, and then I got a call out the blue to say, will you become one of our community partners? So we're an official Facebook community partner. So we go into their offices about once a month, go and see them. We do lots of trials for them. I've been on boards for them. I've been on conferences where Mark Zuckerberg's spoken. And honestly, I've been on with the VP of Europe on a panel with her. It's like crazy.
All from starting a Facebook group
and even
for other people.
one of my most proud things is one of the things they introduced this test about archiving a group. So you could have a group and you could archive it for a bit and then come back to it. So even to the point of when you were on holiday, you could just park it for 2 weeks and then come back, And one of the suggestions I made is actually on the community now. One of the suggestions of feedback that I said, why don't you change the wording of that to that? And now that's on there now, and I'm like, yes my little bit of Facebook.
That's amazing. So I mean, like you said, this 2017-ish has started to get bigger than you anticipated, and initially this started off as a community for you to find other like-minded people. It wasn't anything you were ever really planning on monetizing or anything like that. How did things have to change? Because I presume as you got that many people involved, you were going to have to find a way to keep this going, otherwise you're going to be frazzled on your own.
Great question, because I was trying to be an event manager as well, and trying to do this as well, and then suddenly my passion was all for the Delegate Wranglers and less for my event, because I felt like I've done 20 odd years. I was kind of quite burnt out by it as well. So, but I still love the industry. So I always say that the Delegate Wranglers is, you know the film Field of Dreams, and the tagline is, if you build it, they will come.
I'm going to pretend to do.
Yeah, but that's the tagline. If you build it, they will come. So we're the other way around. We're reverse that. We everybody came to the Delegate Wranglers because it was such a useful tool, and then we built a business out of it. Amazing. Because from a need for it. So we started off with, honestly, just like a newsletter. Started off, can I charge? And that was the dilemma. Suddenly I've done all this thing for free, and I'm a kind of pleaser type person. I always want to give everything for nothing and help people out.
Relatable.
Yeah, you know how it is then. So I was like, we can't charge them, but anyway, we started charging people for newsletters, and then all the kind of suppliers and big brands in the industry wanted to work with us because we had this massive, positive, like community of like-minded people that was right on the audience that they wanted to hit. So suddenly, we're doing campaigns for all the biggest companies in the world, like countries like France, with the France Tourist Board, and Great Britain Tourist Board, and you name it, we've done it, and we're still doing it. We've got and then we grew and grew. So I said to Diane, I'm going to have to stop being an event manager and do this. And it was a big decision to take.
Imagine.
But unless I could give it the full, which is always that tipping point of when you start a business, that's a hobby. Suddenly you've got to say, right, now it's going to be a business. And we just went all in, we just went all in for it, and we haven't looked back. We've just grown organically, slowly. The things we offer for suppliers we always deliver on them. We always try to, we do, we deliver on them all. And we've just grown and grown, and we've got a commercial team now who work for us, and social media team, and we're just growing and growing. So really exciting.
And with such a big community, how do you guys manage to kind of foster that feeling of belonging when there are so many people involved?
Yeah, great question. I get asked this a few times. It's all about the vibe. Right. So what we say is three little, it's a bit punchy, but vibe, tribe, subscribe. So if you create the vibe, you'll create the tribe, and then they'll subscribe to you, and then they'll really get what you what you're all about. So we've created this really super safe space, and I don't mean in that sounds a bit, over the top, but I mean a really inclusive place where it's really friendly, and we're all about the vibe.
Yeah.
You're like completely about the vibe. We just don't do. If you don't get the vibe, it's not for you.
Yeah.
We're not for you, and you're not
if you're
for
negative,
us.
Nelly, you're not going to feel it anyway.
We've got another word, but I don't want to use it on this podcast. But it's not for every. It's not for every. It's for most people, but it's all about the vibe. So if you create a positive environment, and this is quite an important point. Rules. You have to have rules. Yeah. People enjoy rules. And I know as long as they're with, they're reasonable rules, they enjoy them and they know where they are. There's nothing worse than when you don't, if, like, I'm going to say, if you're at an airport, check it. If you're at an airport boarding, just about to board a plane, and it's a free-for-all,
it's going to be no fun.
But if there's a tensor barrier, and you know that's where you queue up, you're fine with that. In your head, you're not anxious. You're fine. But when it's just like whoever can get to the desk first, you get this big. So we're great believers in. You set fairly robust rules out. Stick by them. We are so fair. We stick by. We don't do any favors for friends or anything. Yeah. We stick by them, and we can just hide behind. Well, we do. This is
our policy.
These are the policies. I'm so sorry. And it's hard sometimes, sometimes we get dilemmas and like, oh, should we let this up? And so we're really strict about it, and but friendly and fair.
Sure.
We're not fun sponges, as my wife likes.
No, I get you. And then again, with such a large community, how do you listen to them? Because there must be a lot of voices. Maybe are they tagging you in posts or your team, or how do you listen and get a general feel for what people want so that you can respond to that?
Yeah, again, that's a great question. We initially, when we were developing it, we would get a lot of suggestions. Yeah. And I still do get people who come up to me and tap me on the shoulder and say, you know what you should do on the Delegate Wranglers? And I've always wondered why you haven't. Yeah. And we will always listen to them. Sure. We'll always listen to them. And if it's everything that's on the group is born out of a need from or a request or something we've thought of, something we've watched and think, oh, we need to do this. Yeah. And we're still always evolving. So, but it used to happen a lot more. It's less now because people understand it. I think that comes with understanding. When it's developing, people don't quite understand it, but we're so well established that we kind of know. It's like, if you're going on Instagram, the rules of Instagram. You're not constantly sending things. You know how it is. So I think that comes with time. Mm-hmm. But we still welcome people I'm going to regret saying this, aren't I? We still welcome people coming up to us with ideas and suggestions as well. And we're particularly though with clients, we love them when they come to us and say, right, I've thought of a great idea. Like somebody came to me and said, thought of a great idea. I'd like you to come and do a thing on our destination on the city. Yeah. And I want it to be a bit like, you might not know this, I'm going to show my age here, Challenge Annika, which used to be...
I remember Challenge Annika.
Where we're going to have you doing things all around the city.
Oh my gosh.
And reporting it on social media. And we're like, we love things like that, because it seems like good fun and a different way to... We're all about pushing the needle and trying to do different things, rather than just the same old. So we're always looking for new ideas. So, we do welcome them, but... the ideas about how to run the group are less so now. But we used to get them a lot.
Oh, I can imagine. And then how do you get a kind of an understanding? So obviously when, say, COVID and everything happened, how did Delegate Wranglers, how were you able to support the community during that time?
Yeah, you know what? I'd say that's the time when we were absolutely cemented into the industry, I would say so. Yeah. But that really solidified us because we were able to help the industry with communication about what was going on. Yeah. One thing that Delegate Wranglers isn't, we're not a discussion forum. Sure. So everything on there is a need for information about something. So although we never became that, even during COVID, we never just suddenly became a discussion forum. Sure. But we became a tool for getting access to a lot of this information from government and from people who were far more informed than us, who would relay it to us, and then we could put it out to a large community of people who were asking these questions. But one thing it did for me was we started a thing called the DW Live Show, which was on YouTube. It was on all the platforms, but we filmed it on YouTube, and we would upskill. We'd give people the chance to upskill and learn, use the time that we all suddenly had.
Yeah.
So we would have, a LinkedIn expert or a Canva expert or a marketing expert, or and we did about 70 of them on the run. Amazing. Every week.
Yeah.
Me and Dominic from Stream, a company called Stream. So that was amazing for us, because still now, nearly every event I go to, I'll get somebody coming up to me saying, those DW live shows really kept us going, because we made them fun, a bit like when, us, we have a laugh.
Yeah.
So we'd have a laugh and talk about serious things as well, do both. So they were really good for, not only for everybody in the industry, but good for me as well, because it gave me a purpose to get up for and do, even though there wasn't, we went from having, 40, 50 inquiries on there a day to like 2 a week, on the group.
Sure.
So it went quiet in that front, but we were still managed to be able to engage with people and really be there for people as well. And they felt like they come up to us and tell us that they felt like we really kept them going. We knew there were other people in the same boat, and we were still there. We were the constant for them. So it was a tough time, but a really good time, and time for us to prove our worth as well.
But a good example there, isn't it, of how you have created a community. It's not just a place where people can post jobs and opportunities, find suppliers, etc., but in that time, you showed, as the leader, and your team, you showed we are a community. You created content for them during that. Felt like a year, almost 2 years. It felt like I can't even remember.
On and off, yeah.
On and off for like 2 years, wasn't it? It was
2022 is a blur to me now.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. 21. I don't know why.
2019.
Did
21.
it happen? Wow.
2020, 21. That was it. But as a community leader, you were able to establish something that has captured people, I think, there. In their hearts, and I've heard many people extolling the virtues of the Delegate Wrangler community. Now, this isn't an advertorial. It sounds like it. But
other communities are available.
How can people? Yeah, other communities are available. This is not a paid placement. But how could people get involved if they were interested?
Sure, yeah. Just search on the Delegate Wranglers on any of the platforms. We normally ask people to go to our website first, so if you just search on the Delegate Wranglers, you'll find our website. You can just register there. We got options. You can join for free. You can be a free member, or you can. We've got various paid ones, paid memberships as well, which give you a bit more access and a bit more visibility as a supplier. But go to there, and then it gives you all the information about how to join a Facebook group, etc., etc. But we welcome all aspects of the industry. As we're ever growing. We've got a big waiting list already at the moment that we're working our way through.
Nice.
It's become a resource thing now. So, but we are getting there, and we're really privileged to have our place in the industry, and long may it continue. Long may we provide useful opportunities for people, because that's what I'm all about. I want to sleep at night, and when we're getting told these things like your company, the Delegate Wranglers saved our company because we got this piece of business, or we met this new client, or we found this new hire, or whatever it is, that's what we go to bed for, because that makes me sleep at night well, rather than any kind of business success. That's being useful to a community is such an amazing and inspiring thing that you can see I walk around with a smile on my face because I love what I do, and I love what we are to people as well. We're really privileged.
Well, mate, thank you so much for your time. That's wonderful. Folks, you can check out the show notes. There will be a link to Delegate Wranglers, and do get involved. Neil, mate, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Lee. Great job.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.